Early specialisation. What is it? Early specialisation is when an athlete only focuses on one specific sport that they want to exceed in. Sport specialisation is an intense training in one sport while excluding others. Sport specialisation in early to middle childhood is becoming more increasingly common, while most experts agree that some degree of sport specialisation is necessary to achieve elite levels in the sport. Ericsson 1993 provided evidence that development into elite performance in various contexts takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, which is why some athletes choose and feel that they have to specialise in just one sport from a very young age. 10,000 hours is a lot of hours to practice just one sport, and this equates to something like 10 hours a day for the first 21 years of your life of deliberate practice. However, some sports, like gymnastics, are suited to the idea of early specialisation, as things like flexibility are better at a younger age, as Adams and O'Shea discovered that flexibility reduces as you get older. Limitations of early specialisation: risk of injuries, loss of motivation in teenage years, burnout in young athletes, lack of motor skills produced, and Baker 2003 suggested that early specialisation can reduce both sociological and psychological development in a young athlete. The risk of injuries comes from the idea that an athlete would be performing the same movement on the same part of the body for years, and this has a high chance of injury. Loss of motivation, as when children maturate after puberty, they may decide they like different sports and may get bored of taking part in the same sport. Lack of motor skills produced was researched by Meyer 2012, as he discovered that children of early specialisation compared to late specialisation was that the lack of motor skills were a lot less in the early specialisation. The relative age effect. The relative age effect is a theory in which children are born in the later months of a calendar year may have an advantage in both athletic and academic abilities. An earlier birth is typically associated with increased physical ability, which has been shown in a recent study where more mature football players were faster than their less mature peers due to a biological advantage. This statement provides the evidence that children born between September and February have a more athletic and academic ability over children born between March and August. As a result, it appears that the relative age effect is principally due to being physically, emotionally, and cognitively less developed than children, which can have an impact on why some children decide to specialise in a certain sport from a young age. This again means that children may specialise in a certain sport as they are more suited to it due to their biological advantage. However, this can also be a negative, as after maturation, children may be less suited to the sport that they've chosen to specialise in and can end up falling out of sport completely. How to improve pathway processes. To improve the way athletes use early specialisation in the pathway, coaches need to focus on how to apply multi-sport programs in addition to providing sport-specific programs in order to best prepare future athletes. This means that coaches should provide different sport programs and try to encourage young athletes to participate in other sports, as well as focusing on their sport-specific program as well. This gives the young athlete a chance to improve their cognitive, their social, and their physical skills in other sports, and can also help improve them in their specific sport. The deliberate practice theory put forward by Ericsson 1993 might be right in the amount of training required to excel into an elite sport, but this could be achieved by developing both sport-specific skills and transferable mental, social, physical, and technical tactical skills via participation in other sports.